seeing Sublime in a little tiny restaurant, you know.
Shut up.
Korn would play at the same venue we would. In fact, a couple of them lived in the same apartment complex as me. Oh, you're in a band? Yeah, I'm in a band. Oh, what band are you in? We're called Korn. What's your band? Barrel House. Oh, okay, cool, man.
This is back to your story.
Rock and roll, baby.
Boom! How we doing, brother?
Good, man. Good.
I really appreciate you making the trek all the way. What would it be? Up here, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, when I reached out to you and you said where you lived, I don't want to, throw it out there, but I was like, fuck, he's not going to make the trek up here. And you graciously did. And, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
I don't mind driving.
No?
I don't mind traffic and I don't mind driving, man, because, I kind of do that for a living in a way with the band going across the country.
Yes.
And, it doesn't bother me at all.
I agree. For me, being in a car is one of the very few times where I get to be alone, right? Without any distractions, without anything. I mean, obviously people can call you and shit like that, but it's like you can tune the rest of the world out. And so I call it my me time, and my wife and a lot of people that know me, like when I drive to work or I'm driving home, that's Brock's time. So it's like, unless it's an emergency or there's shit going on, don't fucking call me. You know, I can kind of just do whatever the hell I want, get deep in my thoughts, tune the rest of the world out, cry, laugh, fart, do whatever the fuck it is, and so like I do enjoy driving. You know what else I enjoy doing? Washing dishes.
Oh, you lost me.
No. Hear it out. Right? Watch, listen. When I was a little kid, my father would make my brother and I, at the end of every single night, wash the dishes. Right? That was kind of like our chore. Now, I fucking hated it back then. I hated it with a passion. But as an adult now, at 36 years old, there's something like cathartic about it. The hot water's going. I have a podcast, or I'm just deep in my thoughts, and I just kind of like, once again, like tune the rest of the world out. And it's very, very strange. People give me the same freaking look, but it has that same type of feeling that I enjoy. I don't know.
Hey.
Now,
whatever floats your boat.
now, putting dishes away, my wife will testify that I fucking hate doing that shit. So teach their own.
Yeah.
But all right, man, let's get to it. So for people just tuning in after we did that little quick banter, why don't you do a brief introduction, if you could, please?
Yeah, I'm Harlis Sweetwater, singer, songwriter, guitar player, and I love beer.
There we go.
And I love rock and roll.
Let's go. Salute. Like I was telling you in the beginning, before we started recording, man, this season I've not had one drink on the show, right? And I have not been drinking a lot because I tend to not like the way it makes me feel the next day. But when you said Modelo, I was like, all right, it must be a sign from the beer gods, because I'm like, I'm going to fucking have a couple with this dude.
Hey.
So
so good.
It
so
is.
Good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so weird, because when I was a kid, I fucking hated it. But like once I got into my 30s, especially, it just there's just something so nice about it. So brother, like for you, where does your story start? I'm not getting on my phone. I'm just putting do not disturb on. So
well, I mean, which part? Which part of the story?
the beginning.
Oh,
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Orange County. I was born in Whittier, California.
Okay.
I lived there for a little while, and then we moved to South County, Orange County, Laguna Niguel.
Nice.
And stayed there until I was 14, and then got shipped up to Huntington Beach. Well, I've been there ever since.
Damn,
Yeah.
never left. I mean, Huntington Beach is so nice, man.
Yeah. They're kind of killing the vibe, though, right now.
Why?
A lot of high-density buildings going up, apartments. And, I can remember back in the day when, just what it was before.
Yeah.
And the way it is now, it's they strip away all the charm, all the really cool vibe of it, and they make it this kind of cookie cutter HOA type just bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing worse than a fucking HOA.
Yeah.
And I mean that with the bottom of my heart, man. You know, living up here in Newhall, which is like, it's very different than the rest of Santa Clarita, right? Santa Clarita is, once again, it's like very cookie cutter. Everything is like prefabricated. And that's just how most of Santa Clarita is. But Newhall, being so old, right? Like there is no HOA right over here. Everything, it just feels like natural, if you will. You know, your next door neighbor might have his lawn cut, the other next door neighbor might not, right? The properties are bigger, and it's just it for me, like, that's what I like. You know, I don't like these like prefabricated areas, and especially when you take something like a Huntington Beach, right? And that has had this amazing charm for fucking as long as I can remember. And then you have these bureaucrats come in and try to fucking change it. It fucks it all up.
Yeah, it's money.
Well, of course.
It's that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's about, and tourism. And tourism is money, so that's really all they care about.
Absolutely. Is it? Has it been going on for a long time? Is this something that you've seen in the past 5 years?
Well, you know, they completely did the downtown area. And like I said, I remember what it was like before. Very cool, very beachy, you know, just kind of run down, but cool. Cool shops, cool restaurants, you know, cool bars.
Yeah.
And now it is what it is now. Like it's kind of, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I'm talking
100%.
about. It's real clean and geared towards tourism and all these things.
It's like what they're doing to Venice.
Yeah.
You know,
Terrible.
You know, it sucks, man. Like I remember when, you know, growing up as a kid, going to Venice, it had this like grungy, dirty feel to it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And now I went out with my buddy like a few months ago, and we were out there at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just like, dude, it was just nice. And that's just not what Venice normally felt like for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And there's that charm and that grit when it's dirty and grimy.
Yeah.
But it's got soul. It's got life.
Hit it right on the head, man. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, they're stripping the soul out of it. They're stripping the vibe and the coolness out of it, and making it, you know, what's the word where it's just like just milk toast. It's just you know, just so clean, and all the colors are the same. And
Yes.
just I don't know how to describe it other than just bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like I was talking about the restaurant I was telling you about earlier in Boyle Heights, and as I was leaving
Yeah.
last week and getting back to the freeway, I looked around, and you know, it's a rundown area. We'll just say it's a rundown area.
Yeah.
But that's what made it so cool.
Yes.
And I came up to a stoplight, and you know, there's these guys on the park bench, or sorry, the bus stop bench, and they're talking, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's Victor over there. Hey Victor," and Victor's this guy with no legs in a wheelchair, and he's talking to some woman over across the street at the 7-Eleven, and I was like, dude, how much are apartments up here?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
This is my kind of place. You know,
Yes.
you turn the corner, there's a fucking taco truck right there.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is my kind of place.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hate to sound like I'm complaining, because I am, but I don't want to sound that way, because whatever. It's just the way that I like things, how they were. And it's not like that anymore. And they're putting up, like I said, these high density buildings. First of all, we don't need any more people living in Huntington Beach.
Nope.
It's clogged up enough as it is. And here, where are all these people coming from is what I want to know. where are they finding these people that want to live there? And it's super expensive, annoyingly expensive. And it's just a drag. I like the way it was back in the day.
I get it.
Now, back in the day, you would appreciate this. For instance, before they did all this bullshit back in the 80s, there was a club called Safari Sam's.
Okay.
And that was just this cool, dingy bar where all the fucking bands played, bro. The Descendants, all those punk bands came through there and played at Safari Sam's.
Let's go.
And it was so cool. They had poetry readings and punk rock shows. And then around the corner was the Golden Bear.
Okay.
And that was really famous. Like all kinds of headlining national acts would come through there. And it was just so bitchin'. We're talking like anyone you can think of, the Buffalo Springfield, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors.
Shit.
I mean, bands like that.
What's it called?
It was called the Golden Bear.
Pull that up. The Golden Bear?
The Golden Bear.
In what city?
Huntington Beach. It was
Huntington
right
Beach.
on PCH. Man.
All right.
And they had a mural on the side of it with I can't remember exactly who was on there, but it was I think Linda Ronstadt was on there.
Okay.
But everybody came through. The Birds. It was been there since the 60s.
Is that it right there? Mm-hmm. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, old theater. Look at
Dude, look at that. Hold on for you, zoom out just a little bit. Dude, look at that. That's incredible. You know, just for the people listening right now, we're looking at the Golden Bear. Like, pull it up on Google. It's fucking cool. Click on that one right there with the van. Right there. Dude, look at that.
Yeah.
That is sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful theater.
Yeah.
All kinds of bands. But Tyler, you could probably find the bands real quick. Some of the bands that played there. But just they tore it down. They tried to bring it back, and it was next to a movie theater, so the music was bothering the people in the theater.
I don't doubt it.
And so they did away with it
Dude,
again. And
let me just read this. It started out as a restaurant and eventually hosted such artists as Dick Dale, Janis Joplin, Arlo Guthrie, Stevie Ray Vaughan, The Doors, Jackson Browne, Jimi Hendrix, Jonah Jett, The Blackhearts, Dave Mason, Tower Power, Chamber Brothers. I mean, dude, the list goes on.
Is that crazy or what?
Dude, I've never heard of this place.
Oh, dude, it was that's when it was magical.
Yes.
Magical place to live.
Yeah.
And
so you would go there as a kid?
I never went there, but my dad had some. There's these apartments right on the beach, and I could see the Golden Bear from his place. I mean, these apartments are literally on the beach, and it's a bitchin' place. So going there, I would always see the mural and see the marquee.
Yeah,
and I wish I would have.
It was a little bit before your time.
It was, but I think it was. I can't remember when it was torn down, but I know
You want to pull that up?
I know it was still there when I was in high school. So
Damn.
80s.
Yeah, for sure. But like Joplin and Hendrix and all. Dude, how sick would that be?
Oh my God.
What was it?
They closed it in 1986.
The year I was born, man.
So
Fucking hell, man.
yeah. So now it's that's all the cool factor that they took away from it. And you could, if you want, you could pull up Safari Sam's.
Oh yeah, pull that up.
Because that was the more punk rock place.
Okay,
And
okay.
I know the Descendants and God, I can't even remember all the bands that played there, but
So
it was like Fender's Ballroom and the Olympic, those venues that all those bands came through and played. Dead Kennedys, places
dude.
like
bands
like that around there.
Yeah, absolutely. Safari Sam's, Huntington Beach. There we go, brother. Yeah, pull that up right there. One of the posters. For
Look at the flyers.
Dude, look at that. Mad Parade, Party Doll. I just saw it with Social Distortion. I mean, dude, that's just sick, dude. Let's go. And that's gone.
That's gone. I think, I'm not sure, but I think they turned it into the Surf Museum.
Okay. That's cool.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shitty little small place.
Yeah.
But so cool.
But dude, still, I mean, that's cool though. If they turned it, did they turn it into a surf museum?
Yeah, it's a surf museum.
Damn, that's kind of sick though. What's it called now? It's the home of the International Surfing Museum. Wow, that's okay. All right. Well, could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
I want to take it back real quick though, because we were talking offline and you were talking about the chicken place and you gave it a kind of a brief shout out, but you want to mention the name real quick? The kid?
Pioneer Chicken is the place in Boyle Heights, off Soto Street.
Dude, explain the story real quick.
Well, I don't want to get it all balled up,
Okay.
but basically Pioneer Chicken is an old chicken restaurant.
Yeah.
And I believe it was established in 61.
Yeah.
And they were very popular in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
As you saw, like
Yes.
Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson, the juice.
Yeah, we're all like, in their commercials.
Yes.
And they were all over. We had one in South County too, but they got bought out or bought up by Popeye's Chicken, I believe.
Yeah.
He told me, and there's two remaining that I know of. The one in Boyle Heights and the one in what did I say, Bell Gardens?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So his parents run that, and they have run it for a long time. And this kid is like 19, and he's just ushering in the whole new era.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Buss did with the Lakers.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I love it.
And just the I call them kids.
I mean, 19, bro, is a kid.
Yeah, he's a
fucking
kid.
kid.
But he's just he's just killing it.
Yeah.
And he's growing their business, and he's got some amazing ideas that he shared with me. And I'm just like I told you, I met him for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
I had been there to eat before, like a month or so before. And I met him. He invited me to come check it out and see some of the changes and talk with him. And I told him, I go, dude, I just met you right now, and I don't know you, but I am really proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
He's just killing it right now.
Yeah.
So
19, man.
yeah, got to have him on. It's just a great story
Yeah.
because it's an old establishment.
Yeah.
It's an old, it was any people that were my age and lived in, especially Southern California,
Yeah.
would know it and appreciate the retro. He's bringing back, I won't, I'll let him.
No, let him.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second because I just want to turn off the air because it will. I realized that I did not shut it off. Here we go. For people, let me just shut this off. My apologies. There we go. I want you to set that introduction up because you telling me that, so I was like fucking inspired, man. For you though, like. Music has been such a huge part of your entire life, right? Now, as far back as you can remember, like, was there someone or something that flipped that switch on?
Oh, I was thinking about this on the way up. And it's funny that you say that, ask it in that way, because I was thinking of it in terms of flicking on a switch.
Wow.
And trying to think back and realize some things in thinking of that. So to answer your question, no, there was no switch. And I'll tell you why. Upon thinking about it, there was always music in my house. My mom was always blasting records, and there was music in the car. My dad and my mom both love music, especially my mom. And so it was just there playing. So the weird thing about it is, or what I think is interesting, is that it was just there, like having an arm or a leg or a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
But I was very connected with it,
Yeah.
right as far as I can remember. My earliest age, my earliest memory, it was just a part of me. So it was almost as if it was just kind of there before.
Wow.
In a past life, in a past, dimension or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't like, what is this? No, I already appreciated it from the get-go, and I was already into it. It wasn't like something new to me. It just was. It already existed in me before I was even born. That's what it felt like.
Wow.
So I remember just my mom had records, flipping through the records, looking at, I'm like 4 years old, flipping through her records, looking at all the pictures and the content on the back, all the liner notes, pulling out the record, looking at the label, seeing who wrote the songs, the names of the bands, all the record company. I read everything.
Yeah.
And there was certainly songs that like resonated with me. And I was listening to some of them on the way up here. I was like, I'm going to check them out. So I put them on. One of them, I just tell you, I'm going to be 54 soon. So I go back.
Dude, you look incredible. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no. Yeah, thanks, man.
Dude, Tyler. 50. Dude,
Yeah.
I would have said like 42. I'm not even bullshitting.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, these songs, I listened to them and because I was thinking about them. And one of them was a song called Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot. And I can remember hearing that song because had just come out or was pretty new.
Yeah.
This is talking like 74.
Yeah.
And 75, something like that. And just digging it, digging the groove of it, digging the melody of it. Another big one for me was Benny and the Jets by Elton John.
Benny and the Jets.
I was just obsessed with that song. Asked my cousin to can you write down all the lyrics for me? And there's one song in particular, and there was this cat named Gilbert O'Sullivan, and he's kind of a one-hit wonder, but his one hit that he had was called Alone Again Naturally.
That's a great name.
And I can remember being 4 years old, and that song just was, I knew it was a cool song. I knew it was a special song, and somehow, some way, like it's almost indescribable, it just resonated with me. And to this day, I cannot get through that song without welling up with tears.
No way.
I can't get through it. I love singing it, and it gets to a certain part, I gotta let go. I still listen to it, but I can't finish singing along with the record. It hit me back then, and I don't know why. I was only 4 years old, man.
Yeah.
But the point being is, music was just, there was no flick of the switch. There were moments when certain bands came into my life, and certain moments where I was like, boom, boom, like, dang, okay. And certain people in my life that brought me music. But as far as music goes as a whole, it was almost like I already knew what it was. I already felt what it was. I almost had carried that sentiment with me into this life.
Wow.
I don't mean to get too deep.
No.
but
I love that.
But I was thinking exactly what you said. Was there a flick of the switch? And I thought, no, there wasn't. I just loved music. It was just always around. It was like putting on a shirt or making a sandwich. It just existed.
What do you think that is?
Like I said, I really do think that it was with me beforehand in some other life or some other way. I was connected to music because and there's a lot of people that probably feel the same way, and musicians that are the same way.
Yeah.
Not just in that, but in other mediums too. Painting, sculpting, writing, whatever it may be, acting. It just is a part of you, and it will never, ever leave. I know that here I am, 54, still playing, still writing, still creating, still pumped, still hyped about it. And it'll be that way till I die. And anyone that comes across in my world figures that out really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend one time, she's like, asked my sister, she said, when is he going to stop, with this whole music bullshit, trying to make it and be a rock star and all these things. And my sister, and I was in my 20s, and my sister goes, never.
Wow.
He'll probably never be that person, So it's always been a part of me. Yeah. And it's, that's the way it is.
There's something so magical about it. I mean, there's really something to say about how things are passed down. Is it from generation? Is it in our DNA? Is it in our genetic sequence? It's like, why are kids afraid of the dark? How do dogs know to lift up their leg to go pee, right? Like, how do these things happen? And so, like, for you and music, right? Is it a past life? Is it something that was, genetically passed down through your lineage, right? I don't know. There's something so magical about that. And, like for you, when you look back at your own story and you started creating music, when did that all come about?
Well, I started like playing guitar. I think I was nine years old.
Damn.
And that was a moment that's one of those now that's a flick of the switch moment. That's a flick of the switch moment.
Yeah.
My mom, I tell her this all the time. We talk about it at family gatherings and stuff. She was the kind of lady that just for some reason would just give me random information, just randomly, like, but amazing lady. She taught me how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of myself.
Yes.
We were latchkey kids back then. We
Love it.
to take care of my sister. She showed me how to, make things in the kitchen and do my laundry and all those things. But this is the story I tell a lot. Is one day she just goes, "Hey, come here. I want to show you something." So she goes, "Sit down," and we sat down in front of the stereo, and she took out a record. It was called Chuck Berry's Golden Decade, Volume 1. And she put on the record, and she gave me the gatefold album cover. And I'm sitting there listening to Chuck Berry, and I'll tell you, man, I opened up that gatefold, and I have the picture on my phone. I'll show you later. I finally found it. That picture changed my life. That picture changed my life. Right there and right then, I looked at Chuck Berry. It's a picture of Chuck Berry in a two-tone. It's pink. At the time, I thought it was pink lights, and he's just kind of got the microphone there, playing his guitar, looking down at it, sweating. It's a live shot.
What album?
Chuck Berry's Golden Decade.
Can we pull that up real quick, Tyler? Chuck Berry's Golden Decade?
Yeah, Volume 1.
Volume 1.
Yeah, you got to get the inside. So see if you can find the inside photo. But yeah, it changed my life. And I looked at that and I said, I want to do what he's doing. I wanted to actually be Chuck Berry. I want to be that guy.
Really?
Yeah, I want to be him. I don't want to play that music. I want to be him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like that. Yeah. It's the pink radio on the far left, upper far right. That's the album, and that's yeah.
That right there?
Yeah. But it folds out to the full, like almost the full body or to the waist or something. But
Wow. So that right there.
yeah, it was like seeing, the face of God. I'm looking at the physical image of rock and roll.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want a guitar. I want a guitar, and they got me a fucking guitar, and I started learning. Yeah. And prior to that, we had just moved to Laguna Niguel. It was 76. And the whole street was new. It was a brand new suburb. And there was nothing but hills around. It was not like it was now. And it was very almost country. So all these kids lived on the street with me. And we made new friends,
Yeah.
And made this one friend, he's my oldest friend, we're still friends today. He brought down a record, and I can see it in my mind that moment. We were in the middle of the street, and we were on our skateboards. He ran up to his house and came back. And he brought down Kiss Destroyer.
Kiss Destroyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was another flick of the switch. That was like, oh my God, what is this? And I freaked out. I was all in, dude. Anything Kiss I could get a hold of, my parents could buy me, I was in. I was all in.
What was it? I mean, obviously Kiss, like I get it, but for you, what was it?
Well, I'll tell you, I think what it was because up to that point, we're looking at records in my mom's collection. I'm looking at Elvis and Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Three Dog Night, you know, these kind of hippie bands.
Yes.
And Elton John, things like that. So when I saw that, that was the first time I seen a record cover look like that.
Yes.
And to find out that that is actually the band and they actually look like that and wear that on stage.
Yes.
Holy shit. What? That's Elvis doesn't look like that.
No.
Chuck Berry doesn't look like that. Elton John certainly doesn't look, you know what I mean? So that was the moment. So at that point, we got fake guitars and tinfoil for the costumes, and we would put on little concerts in our garage and charge our neighbors to come watch us.
Shut up.
Yeah. And so, and so we did that for a couple of years. I was like 7. And then so a couple of years later, then Chuck Berry came. And then from Chuck Berry, that's when it became real.
Yeah.
Then I started finding the Beatles, the Stones, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and it just exploded into all these discoveries.
Yeah. Yeah. So you at this point, right, you're playing music, right? Did it come naturally for you? Did you have to take lessons?
It came pretty quick. I got into it pretty. I was so in love with the guitar and music and the idea of rock and roll that I practiced every day, every chance that I could.
Yeah.
And that same guy is the same band that we did the Kiss, concerts in the garage, turned into a real band. And so we were doing covers. I was the lead guitar player and the singer, and along with the other guys too. But yeah, so I did take some lessons, and I didn't like the schooling of it.
Okay.
I didn't like the structure of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I was impatient. I don't know. I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So quit those very quickly and just started playing. I started learning from my friends. One of the guys in the band was he was like 4 or 5 years older, the brother of my buddy. And so he would learn stuff and then show us, here's an A minor chord, here's a G chord, and this is how the song goes. You know?
Yeah.
So then I just took off, and every day before school, every day after school, until I got yelled at to get my ass to bed.
Yes.
But again, my parents were very they let me do it. Crank my stereo. They were happy that I was playing music, and they loved it. So they were never like, turn that shit off.
They're very supportive.
Very supportive. Uber supportive. Yeah.
Now, when you were doing this, I always like to ask the question, how was school for you? Did you like school? Were you a good student?
Hated it.
Yeah.
I hated school.
Yeah.
The only thing I liked about school was the social aspect of it.
Yes.
And that was it. I hated it. I was not good. Was not good at learning. I was terrible at those things, and I didn't like it at all.
I remember when I was younger, right? Going to school, I hated it. Right. The only class I liked was history. I'm a history buff, still to this day, right? But every other fucking class, hated it. They said I had ADD, right? And I look back, right? Listening to your story, my story, right? How is it a kid that has ADD or fucking hates school, but then can go home and skateboard for 10 hours or pick up a guitar and practice every waking minute at it, right? Do every little thing at it. And so I look at it, and it's like when they say that these kids have ADD, and I'm not saying that it's not a real thing. I just think that there's a lot of kids out there that go to school, and it's not their passion. It's not their calling, right? It doesn't mean that they're bad kids by any sense of the name. It's just that whatever this thing is, right? It's just not for them. And that's okay, because there's so many other avenues in life that can inspire these kids, right? And so for you, that's why I was like, I like to ask that question, because it's like, well, school, maybe not, but for you, your education was that fucking guitar. And what you took from it, I'm sure it taught you so much about life that you take till this day, and that's made you who you are as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the same way. I only really liked history.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that seemed to interest me. And I remember thinking, why do I need to know all this? What is the point of all this?
Yeah.
And I still feel that way. I still think they're really not telling kids and showing kids what they really need to know.
Absolutely.
And now that I'm older, I see that, in my opinion anyways, well, they just feed you what they want you to know.
Of course.
And what they think you should know.
Absolutely.
And they never tell you the whole story. And they never tell the truth.
Yeah.
About so much other things.
Yes.
You know. So, yeah, it's really just a bunch of bullshit. And, but yeah, to your point, man, I think you're right. And I think a lot of people, are, I don't know, I can't remember whether it's left brain or right brain, but it's very artistic. One side is artistic and,
Will you look that up? What side of your brain?
I think it's the right side. I'm not sure.
I don't know. What side of the brain comes creative, right?
Like, yeah.
It said that the creativity is the product of the brain's right hemisphere.
Right hemisphere. There you go.
Okay.
You were right.
So, yeah, but, yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where, they want to keep you in a box. They want to do their job and tell you what they want to tell you and want you to know what they want you to know.
Yeah.
And they really never seem to appreciate, art and, things like that, like as a, form of learning and, I don't say what, like validity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, even history, man, it always comes from the side of the victor, right? It's like that's where these stories come from.
Yeah.
But you know,
And he's usually white.
yes, that is a fucking fact. But you know, I think the issue that we have, I mean, there's many issues with education, but like. Kids growing up, what I appreciate about some like European cultures is they make them go to school until they're 16, right? And then before they go to, you know, college or university, right? They have to pick a trade and they do that for 2 years, right? They go away and they stay at a place and they learn a skill, like an actual fucking skill. And then they go to university, right? There's something really magical and important about that. And like, you know, I know today, like a lot of schools around the country, right? They're not teaching kids, you know, about, you know, finances. They're not teaching kids how to, you know, cook. Or not teaching kids how to make a house. Teaching kids like real world fucking skills. Yeah. It's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with algebra, right? Or these like, you know, higher level mathematics, but it's like once you're past 6th, 7th grade, man, you know, basic arithmetic, basic English, like these basic things, like unless you're going to become like a doctor or scientist, right? Like none of those things really do fucking matter, right? It's like these kids that are going to even college, like to get like a social media marketing degree, learning from a teacher that fucking never controlled a you know, a major social media account and marketed for a major company, right? They're just learning from these pages of these books. And now this kid is spending $200,000 for this bullshit fucking thing where they could learn 99.9% of it on the fucking internet, man. Mm-hmm. That is why now even Google, right? Before it was like you needed a 4-year degree, but now what do? They offer a 6-month course, right? That you can take. And that's all you would need if you wanted to get a job at, you know, some of these places like a fucking Google, right? So I don't know. Yeah, the education system in America and a lot of places is definitely fucked up, and they do want to put us in these little boxes. But, you know, for you, right, you had music. When you look back at your story, what was your first band?
My first band was the one I mentioned. We started playing.
What were they called?
We were called the Riders.
Why?
With a Y.
Ooh.
I don't know why. They just, I think like I said, the older brother's name was Mike. He came up with the name, and we're just like, yeah, that sounds cool. It sounds rock and roll. We're the Riders, you know. But we didn't have any knowledge of like certain bands that existed before, like Mitch. What's his name? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Mitch something in the Riders was already banned. The Riders were already banned, but yeah, we just called ourselves the Riders, and we played covers. And we played a lot of Beatles, a lot of Stones, some Ozzy,
There we go.
some Blue Oyster Cult, Kinks, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
And so you and your friends, how long were you guys together for doing this?
That lasted till I was about 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved down the street, and which might have as well been another state.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And so then we started getting 14, 15, 16. We started growing apart, and I moved off that, like I said, off that street. So I still played music, formed another band with. We moved into this new house, and I heard drums coming from the garage. Boom, let's go. I started a band. And then at that point, I'm 14 and hanging out with 18 and 21-year-olds.
There we go. Sounds like my story.
And so then we started smoking and drinking, and then the real rock and roll came in, you know.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I see your face. Your face like lights up, right? Like you don't when you're 14, 15, 16 years old, you don't realize how impactful those years will be. And when you look back as an adult, especially if you had good times, right? Yeah. Good moments, right? I mean, obviously there are some kids that, have terrible moments, right? But like, for me, like 14, 15, 16, right? I was hanging out with like 18, 19, 20-year-olds going to fucking raves and punk shows and just fucking, playing music and skateboarding, just like the time of my fucking life, and those moments you don't realize how truly amazing they are.
Yeah.
Right. So your second band, right? Was this like, had you started like writing your own songs yet, or?
Yeah, we started writing our own songs like in that band before the writers.
Okay.
The writers, we started writing a couple tunes here and there.
Okay.
And then, it started getting into other bands, started writing some songs, terrible songs. Terrible. I think I have an old cassette tape.
Really?
So embarrassing.
Okay.
But we wrote our own songs.
All right.
We had a song called Rock and Roll Bandit.
Okay.
Had a song called Rain, and I don't know. We started writing our own stuff.
All right.
Yeah, and it was fun. Like I said, I was hanging out with older kids, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and pot, and got all introduced to a whole new lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and my mom and dad had divorced, and she met a new guy, and he had a son, who's like a year older than me, like just slightly older than me, and so I got kicked out of two high schools. Now I'm in ninth grade, and I don't want to be there.
Yep.
So I'm getting kicked out of one school, got kicked out of another school. I miss my mom because now I'm living with my dad. She's up in Huntington Beach. So I moved up there, and lo and behold, my brother, he's a punk rocker.
Let's go.
And so he didn't like school either. So we ditched together. And but I remember going into his room. We had 3 rooms in a row. It was my sister's room, then my room, then his room. And when he was gone, which he was always gone, off fucking around,
Yeah.
And I remember going into his room and going through his record collection. Holy shit. Another flick of the switch.
Let's go.
What is this? Crass? GBH?
Yes.
Social Distortion? The Sex Pistols?
Yes.
I mean, Exploited, The Clash, Toy Dolls, everybody and anybody you can think of. And I was like, oh my God, again, the album covers drew me in. And so I go, hey man, I went in your room. What are these albums? He's like, check it out. I was like, what? Oh my God. And he was full on punk,
Yes.
Had a mohawk, had the leather jackets with the studs.
Yes.
And anarchy shirts and ripped jeans and boots, the Doc Martens and all that stuff. So I was like, dude, this is rad.
Yes.
And so I was influenced by that too. I started listening to his records and along with the ones I had. So I'm going from the Beatles to the Toy Dolls to, you know, GBH, and then, you know, like Joni Mitchell or some shit like that.
Dude, I
it's
love
all
it.
good.
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, I remember being that age, dude. Sid Vicious was just, dude, I had the fucking Liberty Spikes. Bro, it was fucking awesome. And you keep on saying, like, looking at the album covers, like, I remember, you know, you'd get these fucking albums and you would just look at them for hours, every little part of it, or read every single fucking anything on it for just an hour, right? I loved going to record stores and just spend so much time there, and just that tangible aspect that unfortunately you don't get today. I mean, it's amazing that you can just pick up your phone over the fucking air, you get any song in the entire world, right? But that the tangible aspect of a record, of a cassette, even a CD, whatever it was, right? But for me, it was like vinyl records. I remember like going through my father's, and then, you know, I started DJing, and I'd get, you know, I'd just get crates of fucking records and just spending so much time and going down to Amoeba or your local record store. Like, it was just so amazing. And unfortunately that, you know, they don't have that today. Yes, it is amazing that we can get it through the air, right? That's really fucking cool. But the tangible aspect, that it is unfortunate that is gone. You know, so then you get influenced by your brother, right? Did that start to change your style of music?
Yeah, I mean, it started, you know, I didn't see that much of a difference between punk and rock and roll.
Yeah.
I could immediately, I saw the thread, the common thread, the common angst, the common, you know, vibe of it all. But yeah, I started listening more, buying my own records. And by the way, side note to that, when you had Ephraim in here,
Yeah.
I watched the episode. I was so excited, and watch you guys talking in here, and it's him sitting right here telling about what it was like to be a kid.
Yes.
You know, riding bikes and skateboards, and how you just would pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, is Johnny there?" "No, he's not here." "Okay, cool." And it was just it goes along with the record thing you're talking about right now. You know, just looking at the records, discovering music, your friends going, "Check this out," you know, and you being in the record store going, "Flip, flip, flip." "Oh, what?" You know, what a great time. Boy, I was watching that with, like, my cheeks hurt from smiling so much, watching you guys talk about that. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But so then I started, I was incorporating that into my guitar playing, and it showed me a different side of lyrics. You know, he had from the floor to the ceiling on every wall posters, the flyers. And it was so badass. And he ran away from home, and I don't think he was going to stay long. He just couldn't take it, you know, because my mom was, you know, bitching at him and stuff. So stepmom now. So she tore all the flyers off the wall and threw them away.
Oh.
And he came back. He ran away to San Francisco, and he came back, and there's just little corners, you know, staples and corners, paper corners, you know. And I was like, dude, I knew he was gonna freak out, and he just lost his shit. But point being is, like, can you imagine having all those still today? I know some people must, but so yeah.
It's priceless, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking priceless.
I have a buddy in Klamath Falls, Oregon. His name's Chewy. And I went up to his house one day. We were on tour. And he would host bands that came through. And he has a bunch of the same flyers that my brother had. But different, same. Some of them were the same. Some of them, because he lived in San Diego, were different venues. But I got him to make copies for me. That's what I gave them to my brother for his
No way.
Yeah, like, dude, check it out. And so I got him at least most of his flyers back, or a lot of them back.
Dude,
cool.
he must have loved it.
He was stoked. Yeah,
loved it.
He picked I don't know, 6 of them and put them in a big frame in his house and stuff.
That's so awesome, man.
But yeah, that made its way into my music, man.
Yeah.
Still does.
Yeah,
Still does.
absolutely. I was telling Tyler a story the other day of like how my room was set up as a kid, and you talk about like the flyers. Dude, seriously, from the bottom all the way to the top of the walls, every single fucking square inch, it was fucking flyer after flyer after flyer. And then on my ceiling, I would hang these like tapestries, and it was just the entire ceiling, right? And then the way I did it was I had this fan in my room, and I would drape it low so that when you would turn on the fan, right, we'd get all stoned in my room because I didn't have a bed. I just had a couch, right? And we'd get all fucking high, and it would kind of like breathe. And we would just like trip out on it. But like I look at some of the pictures of me like as a kid in my fucking room, man. It was just like flyers fucking everywhere, dude. And man, it's just like it's so nostalgic, right? And so, you know, when music is such a big part of your life, right? Like you look back as yourself as like a kid, and you know, like you when you start to like create your own space, it's like your own bubble, and it's kind of like even like today, right? Like this is like my sanctuary, right? Like the world could be fucking crashing right now, but like if I come into this room, right, this studio, like my man cave, if you will, like it's just like it takes me to another place, right? You know, back then it was flyers. Today it's, you know, Shepherd Ferry Obey paintings, right? It's just different, but you know, same story. So you know, you're ninth grade, right? You're in your second band, right? What happens next?
And then I'm not in a band anymore. We kind of broke up because again I moved that band that I talked about. I can't remember our name of the band, but like I said, I got kicked out and moved up to Huntington Beach with my mom. So now my bandmates and my friends are gone. My mom, God bless her heart, you know, she would take me down there every weekend to be with my friends. You know, and so, but that got old. And I met a girl, and so now I'm in high school, and I'm not really playing. I'm just playing acoustic guitar, and it's just listening to music, and so yeah. And then after that, going into out of high school and going to like a junior college, which of course I was there for the social aspect. I don't think I ever went to classes. I ended up just playing guitar on the lawn, OCC, and we got into another band. Started another band. And my friend told me it was interesting. He goes, dude, you always start your own bands and you head up your own bands. You don't know what it's like to audition. And because he was going out on auditions. I'm like, dude, that sucks, you know, and how did it go? And he told me all these stories, you know, about bands he'd auditioned for. And I was, you know, singer was an asshole, guitar player was cool, whatever. And I go, yeah, that's true. I always just start my own shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's always been playing music and started up another band. If that fizzled out, start another one. Always.
You just kept on pushing.
Huh.
What do you think that is about you, right? Because your friend is trying out for bands, but you're starting your own. Like this is not any disrespect to your friend, but in life there are leaders and there's followers, right? Not saying that your friend's a follower, don't know him, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, you said it. It does take a certain type of person to say, okay, I'm gonna fucking put this shit together. Like, where do you get that from?
I don't know. Just my love of music and wanting to keep pursuing, keep pushing, keep growing. And, you know, I don't like waiting on people especially when it comes to music. I don't like waiting on people. I want, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. And so I think that's, well, to your point, I've always been a leader.
Yeah.
And not in an egotistical way or conceited way. I just know what I want. I know what I want to do. And I don't wait for anyone to do it for me.
Yes.
There was a time when I was trying to get on festivals and sending out emails and letters and all these things. And I'm like not getting the response I want to. Oh, fuck it. I'll put together my own festival. So I did. You know, it was called Damn to Suburbia. And just got my friends' bands and we sold tickets. You know, it's just like DIY stuff. And that's where the punk, you know, thing came in too, taught me a lot about the DIY.
Yes.
You do it yourself, put it on your own shows.
Yes.
You know, you commandeer somebody's garage or a backyard, or you just do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that the punk, culture gave me that, and it stuck. And I'm
Yes.
still DIYing it today. you
Yes, yes. I mean, like I said earlier, right? Like, people go to school and learn all this stuff, but like, look all these things that you have learned through your life from music, right? And what it's made you as an individual, how it's made you as an individual, right? Like, there are a lot of parents out there, you got to do this, and this. And it's just like, if you did not have, your mom that let you have the opportunity of, doing music and, even like taking you on the weekends to your friends and like doing those things, like what type of person would you be today? Right.
Yeah.
Like it's so important. I'm not a parent yet, but like when I have a kid, like I want to be able to be there for them, to help support them follow their dreams and what they want to do, not like you got to do this, and if you don't fucking do this, you're not going to do this, right? It's just like I think so many people, as parents, do get stuck like this one-sided mentality, and we want to be able to foster the younger generation to be able to find their own lane and find their own path.
Well, that's, I don't know how you'd say it. That's to the detriment of tradition. I mean, that's how America has been. It's like, you grow up, you go to school, you get married, you get yourself a wife and a couple kids, and you work from, you slave from here to here,
Yep.
you pay your taxes, and you fucking die.
Yes.
And hopefully everyone's at your funeral. I mean, that is shoved down our fucking throats.
Yes.
Still to this day.
Yep.
And finally, I think people are starting to kind of be like, no,
Yep.
not gonna do that.
Yes.
I'll figure it out. And you're right. I was just terrible at math. I was scared of math.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I still think that I have some kind of like maybe dyslexia or some kind of problem with it. I just was not good at it at all. But to your point about music, when it came time to sell CDs and T-shirts, I got really, I was like, whoa, I kind of know how to give change and stuff now. And I don't have to think about it as much. It's like, as I started doing it and selling shirts and selling CDs and stickers, the prices started, ringing in my head, and I became good at that aspect of it.
Yes.
How much change you need.
Yep.
It was really bad, like I said. So, it just teaches you so much. Music, dude, it's magic. As Tom Petty said, it's the only real magic, I think, in the world.
I believe it.
It's a universal language. You can go to any country and relate to somebody you've never spoken to. You can't speak a lick of their language, and they can't speak a lick of yours, but you could bond through music.
100%.
Just by
100%. Yes.
And all of a sudden you have a best friend,
It's so true. And what you just said, right, about, music and change, it just made me think, right? My little sister, right? She is dyslexic, right? And she's had her own issues, right? But when it comes to automotive, right? And she's like a mechanic, right? If you will. And she has an issue saying like some big words, right? But when it comes to cars, she'll talk about the carburetor and the engine and this blah, 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 things that I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about, but she's putting all of these words together, totally making sense, right? It's because it's something that she is passionate about and that she cares about. Does that make her dumb? Fuck no. It's just, we all have our own issues, right? But there's something that turns on inside our brain when we have this pure, unfiltered love for this one thing that can ignite it, right? It's magic. And it's like the same thing with music for you, right?
Yeah.
So, going to junior college now, we're going to bring it back to your story. We're going to junior college. You're still pushing music, right? You're still trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. At what point did the pieces of the puzzle start to come together?
That kind of, so around 90, 93, I started a whole new band. I got a whole new vibe, right? And I'm really into blues and soul music. As I said, I Chuck Berry from the get-go at 9 years old or whatever it was. So I liked it, but now I'm discovering other R&B artists and soul music and blues, and I'm really diving into that more. And so, I just started putting together a band with my oldest friend who brought me the Kiss record on bass.
Yep.
And we started a band, and we started focusing in on our look, on our sound, really just breaking down songs, breaking down parts. We wanted to play as authentically as we could, matching that Southern soul music of like Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, these artists like that, amazing artists like that. So, and that's when it really started, like a whole new level, Just we leveled up, man. And we're putting on warehouse parties. We are playing opening shows for bigger artists. We're playing venues. We're selling merch. So now we're doing that kind of stuff.
What's this band called?
Oh, that band was called Barrel House.
Okay.
Barrel House. And that lasted for like 4 or 5 years. And we got a lot of good press. A lot of people liked it because we were true to the music that we were, even though we were writing our own songs, we were playing true to that style.
Yeah.
In our own way. And that still kind of mixing a little bit of genres in there too. So as we grew, and then, just kind of, guys got older and they had to move, and wives and kids or whatever it was. So that disbanded, and so time to start a new band, bro.
Right back at it. Right back at it.
Yeah, right back at it. But that was the first one that really, like, we got in the papers. There was the LA Weekly.
Of course.
There was one called the OC Weekly.
Yeah.
And they named us, they did a issue called the Best or Top 186 Bands of All Time. And so you're flipping through there, you're going, No Doubt, Sublime, Social Distortion, all these, Barrel House. And they put us in there, and that was like a really cool, wow, dude, that's really cool. We just got a lot of critics that really liked us, music critics.
Yeah.
The LA Times and the OC Register and all these people really liked what we were doing, because nobody was doing it at the time. Everybody's like a soul singer now. Everyone's an R&B singer now.
Yes.
We didn't have that. There was maybe a small handful of cross country, that were, doing what we wanted to do and making it happen.
Well, that wasn't the popular genre of music at that point.
No, we're talking about grunge.
Of course.
We're talking about the post-grunge stuff like, like I said, No Doubt, Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, Limp Bizkit, Korn.
Yep.
Funny thing about Korn, though, living where I do, where I have this is all of these cool little run-ins that I've had, and cool little things with people from bigger bands.
Yeah.
Seeing Sublime in a little tiny restaurant,
Shut up.
Korn would play at the same venue we would. In fact, they were, I don't know which members, but a couple of them lived in the same apartment complex as me. Oh, you're in a band? Yeah, I'm in a band. What band are you in? We're called Korn. Oh, what's your band? Barrel House. Oh, okay, cool, man. That kind of stuff. Really cool little things like that from the Orange County scene back in the day, when it was coming up. So, but yeah.
Did you ever see Sublime perform?
I did. Yeah, I had. We had a warehouse party, and I met this girl, and she was from San Diego. Yeah. Remember I was telling you about the 6-foot bong?
Yep.
Yeah. That chick with the 6-foot bong. So I go, that girl lived down in San Diego. Let's go down there. And so I knew she was going to be at the show. Totally found her, and hey, we're down here. We're just going to sleep in our car, And she's like, no, you can stay at my pad. Anyways, she goes, hey, we're gonna go. Do you want to go with us tonight? We're gonna go see this band at I think the venue was called Beach Boys because I love the Beach Boys. I think that's what it was called. And she goes, we're gonna see this band Sublime at Beach Boys in I think it was Ocean Beach or Mission Beach or something like that. So we went down there, drunk off my ass, stoned, trying to get this girl to like notice me and like me. And yeah, dude, there was like maybe 15, 20 people there.
Up, dude.
They were moving tables. It was like this restaurant bar. And the bar, you walk in and then there's a restaurant and then the bar is in the same room. So, yeah. And there they are. And I didn't give a shit they weren't anybody at that point. They were just Sublime, And I just remember being in my chair, stoned, drinking beers and looking at people dancing. And I can still see it in my mind. But yeah.
Wow.
And then one time, years later, there was a place in Long Beach where I was had been recording, and across the hall was a mastering facility for mastering records, and I was sitting there. The engineer from my studio where I was recording came out and goes, "Hey man, I'm still with this project. You can just chill out here in the lobby for a minute." I go, "Yeah." So I'm chilling out there, and here comes this Dalmatian dog up the stairs. And he comes over me and he kind of jumps on me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" Because I love dogs.
Lou Dog.
Lou Dog. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And here comes Eric and Bud and a couple other people. And I mean, I could smell them before I could see them. I smelled that smell, baby.
Yes.
We were talking about that smell.
Yes.
It was like, I got a contact high just off the smell, dude. So they came up the stairs and they're like, "Hey man, how's it going? Sorry about that." I'm like, "Nah, he's cool, man. That's all." He's petting him on my lap and shit. And they're like, "Are you recording here?" I said, Yeah, I'm just waiting." And they're like, "Oh, we're mastering our record," which ended up being the record they mastered there was I think it was called Secondhand Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And so they're like, "All right, man, have a good session." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, man. You guys too. Cool."
Oh, fucking
That's my
way,
little,
dude.
run-ins over there.
Dude, that's amazing, man. So Sublime for me, that's the band. Like
Really?
that's the band that turned me on to fucking music, dude.
Wow.
I remember being 10 years old and I was in my brother's truck. And my brother's 6 years older than me, so he's 16. And it was a tape player, right? And I'm sitting in the back of his truck and he was playing this music. And it was like the first time that like music, like just, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? And it just was like, and I would ask my brother, I was like, "Justin, who is this?" And he's like, it's a band called Sublime." Little dickhead brother that I am, right? My brother, he was going back home to his mom's because we're half brothers, but we're fucking brothers, right? And he gets out of the car, does whatever he has to do. I fucking eject the tape and I put it in my pocket, dude. And he was so fucking mad. He was so mad at me. And it was just like a
Cassette.
they don't call it burned, but it was like a recorded cassette, right? So like a burned cassette, if you will. But it was just like, and it was just fucking non-stop. And anytime he'd ask me where it was, I lost it.
Yeah.
I wish I still had it to this fucking day.
I was going to ask
man.
you if you still have
Nah,
it.
dude. I wish I did. Fuck, man. It's so good, though. But yeah, like, I always say if there's that one band, like, if I could only listen to one band for the rest of my life, it'd be Sublime.
Yeah.
It would be fucking Sublime.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It was just so much to me. So, like, really cool. I love hearing stories of individuals that, just had run-ins with, Sublime. Actually, his uncle went to Sublime's, Bradley's, their last ever concert before he passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Uncle
Dang,
Sean.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It was cool. It was a cool time in that period of time in the 90s because, like I said, all these bands were, they maybe were just starting to get popular within our community.
Fuck yeah.
But I'm surprised we didn't have more run-ins with bands like that. There's little things, but we wouldn't have played maybe with those bands because, like I said, we were a soul band.
Yeah.
But there's a picture. But we all played the same venues.
For sure.
There was a place called it was called Night Moves, and then they changed it to Club 569.
Okay.
And I think it's a fitness place now, but we would play there all the time. Sublime would play there. Korn would play there. And there's a photo of the guitar player and bass player, looking at each other jamming. And there's a pole in the back. And on the pole, there's a flyer for the next show coming up. And it says Korn on it. Korn, Bitch Funky Sex Machine, and maybe one other
That's
band.
so crazy, man.
Yeah. And I remember
Just like local bands,
Yeah.
just like about to be on the,
Yeah.
it's just so crazy, man. For you, dude, like, okay, so you're Bear House 4 or 5 years, right? What's next?
So by that time, I wanted to do something new and something different. So I started a band called Thrill Deluxe.
Okay.
And it was still kind of more like kind of a classic rock vibe. And I had made friends with my girlfriend's brother and his friends, and they were rappers.
Okay.
So they would come in and rap on some stuff. But rap rock is just left. It was on its way out. So we weren't doing rap rock. We were doing rock, but had a couple songs.
Couple tracks,
come and, but they would come and do stuff. But that didn't last very long. And then I started doing my own thing. I wanted to do something more rootsy. So that band didn't last very long, a couple of years. And then I started doing a band called the Bastard Winos.
Okay.
And I just wanted to jam. So I sang a little bit, but my sister's husband was a lead singer. And so we were doing more rootsy rock and roll stuff.
Okay.
And so that was really fun.
Yeah.
And kind of punk, rock, and roll.
Okay.
Rock and roll with a little bit of punk to it. There's more edgy, And we played a couple punk shows, and just would play all over. But again, I just grow tired of things after a few years.
Yeah.
So then that's when I broke away and just started Harlis Sweetwater Band.
Yeah.
And I started doing that, and that's when I really started like taking off.
Yes.
And raising it to now another level, and started touring and getting little shows just outside, like San Luis Obispo or little Arizona, things like that, just little places. And in 2014, I'm like, I need to level up even more, and I bought a van. I bought a van for $11,000
Okay.
in Elsinore or somewhere like that. And I still have that van. We still use it. That's the tour van. And that's when things started. Now I'm touring. Now we're getting in a van, packing it up, and getting out on the road.
Wow.
We're selling merch. We're playing little dive bars. We're playing everything from dive bars to festivals. And it's now more natural for me. It's like blues rock and roll.
Yes.
And so that blues soul rock and roll. And then, it started growing so just bring up to speed. And then after that, there's some stuff happened on the road, man. And it was just a bad scene, and I was starting to get real, you can put any word in here, disillusioned, annoyed, frustrated with the blues scene. Because, again, I love the blues. I feel like blues and rock and roll and soul music are really my foundation.
Yeah.
But I also like the Sex Pistols and the Descendants and Dead Kennedys and Chuck Berry. So I'm finding that with a lot of the blues stuff I'm doing, I'm starting to hear these kind of little comments about you're too heavy, too. You're not blues, really. You're not this. You're not that. And they're right. And I just can't stick to one genre. I like all music. I like so much music. And so now within, I think it was 2019 or something, had kind of just a mental, emotional breakdown with music and just being disillusioned about playing blues. So that brings you up to speed where I am now, my thing is, I'll play whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I want my freedom.
Yes.
And no one's taken that freedom away from me. But in that blues community, it's, we started to just not belong because I want to start doing, if I want to play like a little reggae vibe, I should be able to.
Yes.
But you can't do that within a community like that. That's just kind of very, they like things a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I'm all for keeping tradition alive, but nothing can grow if you try to contain it.
No, not at all. I don't understand why, fans or people, just individuals in general, like you got to stay in this box. And if you fucking take 1 inch outside of this box, it's not going to work anymore. It's like, dude, it's fucking music. It's literally music. Like, I think of a band like Linkin Park, right? Like, dude, just this genre, that genre, bringing it to fucking together, the rap rock, right? Like all these different fucking, different types of bands. Sublime and all their different, levels of music, your music, like all these different types of genres. Like, what is wrong with that, right? Yeah. Like, if you enjoy this individual and their music, right? If they don't follow the line, right? Like, why not appreciate it? Maybe you might not like those songs, but that's okay, right? But still, you want individuals and musicians to be able to grow and blossom and try new things, right? Because if you stay in this one lane forever, right, you might make these people happy, but your self-expression and your creativity is never going to fully find itself. Like, and I think as people, we need to be able to grow and try different things. Yeah. And so now that you're in control of all of it, right? And like you have been, but it's like, it's your shit now. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man, it's to my own fault that I got into that. With my own fault that I got into that predicament. I was making progress, but at some point, you start trying to please other people instead of being true to yourself. That's an age-old, story, right?
Yes.
I just can't be contained, and that's why I've had so many bands, and that's why I've been able to grow, because I can't be contained, and now I refuse to be contained, and that's an uphill battle too, because of the way that people have paved that road in a way. It's like pushing a fucking boulder uphill, man.
Yeah.
Because the record companies throughout history have told us this is what we want you to listen to. Just like school.
Just like school.
The radio stations are, here's what we want you to listen to.
Yep.
This is popular. This is going to make us money. Here's what you're going to listen. Maybe have a little show on Sunday nights when no one else is listening to dedicate to this, that, or the other. That's out of the box. But for the most part, it just reminds me of school. And, I just wasn't, that's why going back to Sublime, that's what made Sublime so badass.
Fuck yes.
No, to my knowledge, no one had done that before. But here's the thing about Sublime and what they did. So it's just amazing band, right?
Yeah.
They would literally go from a punk vibe, stop and go into a reggae vibe, to a hip hop vibe, and then throw in old schools, old again.
Yes.
But here's the thing. It never sounds funky or weird because they do it their way. Yes. It's a Sublime style. That's their way.
Yeah.
So, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, that's the same with me. If I'm going to do a reggae song, I'm not going to try to pass it off as, I'm trying to be Peter Tosh or Bob Marley.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It's going to sound like me. It's going to feel like me. It's just going to have that kind of, kind of vibe to it. I'm not going to start singing in a Jamaican accent to make it more believable. and it's real. Sublime gave it to us, and they gave it to us their way, and it was real.
100%.
And that's what makes it so badass.
Yes.
So I just want to be able to play what I want to play and sing what I want to sing. And if I want to play more of a punk vibe, I'm going to do it. If I want to do reggae or blues, if I want to do slow blues and then hit a, fast punk rock and roll souped up, Little Richard style song, I'm going to do it.
Fuck yeah.
So, but it's a challenge, dude.
I
a
don't
challenge.
doubt it, man. You know, like love or hate Machine Gun Kelly, right?
Yeah.
This kid, right, was doing rap for all those years, right? And what does he do? He switches it up and starts to create a different genre of music that people didn't like, right? Or that he wasn't known for, right? And then he fucking blew up, right? And it's just like I look at musicians, right, that pigeonhole themselves and never step out of their comfort zone and try to appease these individuals, right? Instead of just following what's ever true to them, right? You're never gonna know what happens until you fucking try, right? And I think that, you know, more individuals, regardless if it's music or not, try new things. Life is a blink of a fucking eye, man. And it's just like you need to get yourself out of your comfort zone. You need to be, you know, doing things that inspire you and fulfill your soul, man. It's just like if we just follow this tightrope for our entire life, which so many people do, you're never going to know what else is out there.
Well said, man.
Right.
100. 100%. I mean, who wants to paint with like two colors?
Exactly.
You know, use the whole fucking palette, man.
Absolutely.
See what you can do, man.
Absolutely. It's so funny that you say that because you know those places where it's like you go and you drink wine and they teach you how to like paint. Have you ever heard of those places?
Yes.
Right. My wife hates taking me because there'll be 20 people in the room, right? So I'm number 20, right? 19 of them will follow along and paint exactly what they're doing. And me, it'll be a completely different fucking painting because I just can't do it. I cannot do it. I have to be able to just do my own shit because if not, then I go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So 2019, right? You're branching out, you're doing other shit. Pandemic hits.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind, man?
It's just a drag, you know, just a drag. I mean, I was kind of not playing as many shows because I was going through this kind of just emotional, like, what am I doing kind of, you know, bullshit. But, I didn't do what everyone else did. I'm just not that kind of guy. If every, you know, I would imagine you're the same.
Yes.
From what little I know about you. If everyone, you know, is wearing a red shirt, give me the green one. Or give me the blue one, you know? So, yeah, I just, you know, everybody was doing these living room concerts and streams and this, that, and the other. And you're going to do one? You should do one. I'm like, nah, if everyone's doing it, I'm not going to do it.
I get it.
I'll wait.
Yep.
This will be over. You know,
Yep.
We'll go back to normal. I already knew it.
Of course.
You know, I'll just sit this one out. Until then, then at that point, I was just me and my guitar, right? So now I'm starting to write more songs and write more lyrics and come up with riffs, and I'm still doing music. I still had music that I was recording. I would go into the studio and wear masks, and I was still doing music. I just wasn't doing live shows, and I think that's maybe when I started doing more of the Instagram guitar stuff. I think,
yes,
maybe, and then it started kind of taking off. But yeah, so that's what I did during the pandemic.
So how much has social media helped you out?
Well, you know, like anybody will tell you, it's a double-edged sword. You know, and you know, kind of just what I told you. For some reason, I started doing. At one point, I started doing just acoustic guitar stuff on my social media. People were freaking out. They really liked it, which I thought, oh, cool. But then I'm like, I'm getting too. That's not my thing. I'm a rock and roller. I'm a punk rocker. I plug in, and people are like digging the mellow stuff, the acoustic rock and roll. So that scares me. So then I switched back to the electric guitar. But to answer your question, it started growing. It started growing. My Instagram started growing through the guitar stuff.
Yeah, that's how I found you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just started using it, and I started kind of just giving. Got into a place of positivity. I found some really cool. What would you call it? Like, no, like not religion, but just a new way of thinking.
Spirituality?
Yeah, like a new spiritual thing. Yeah, I discovered the works of Neville Goddard.
Neville Goddard.
Yeah.
Will you pull that up, Tyler? Neville Goddard.
Neville Goddard.
Never heard.
I discovered his works, and talk about a light switch.
Really?
Yeah, another light switch moment, man.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Neville Goddard. Let's see. What is the philosophy? Neville Goddard's main philosophy was that imagination creates reality. He taught that whatever you imagine with feeling, no matter how big or small, will be reflected in the world around you. Holy shit. What was this? When was he around?
He was around in the 30s, and I think he died in the early 70s.
Yeah, 1905 to 1972. There was his Wikipedia. Go back real quick, Tyler. Let me see this. Click on his Wikipedia real quick. I just want to read a little bit about him. So Goddard was born in Barbados, 1905. Joseph Nathaniel, that's his parents. They immigrated to New York, 1931. He began to study under Ethiopian rabbi named Abullah. Was introduced to him to the Kabbalah in 1942. At the age of 38, was drafted in the army. So his career, he was a dancer and to some extent an actor. He states, "In consciousness is the only reality. For 10 years, I was a dancer, danced in Broadway shows and nightclubs, Europe, the early 50s." So what was he, an author?
Yeah, he wrote books. Yeah.
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 And so how did you come across him?
Like I said, I was down in the dumps, basically.
Yeah.
Just being a little bitch. And you guys don't like my music. No, but I was probably just looking for positivity, how to be positive or something like that, because I was in a bad spot. And saw this law of attraction thing, and then started looking into that, and I was like, oh, and then that led, the rabbit hole, YouTube rabbit hole.
Yes.
Found his stuff, and I was like, okay, this sounds more like it.
Yes.
I never could quite get behind religion, Christianity. I just didn't. I could be faithful and say, like, okay, I can run on faith.
Yes.
Maybe Jesus Christ and died for our sins and all these things. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds good, and okay, but it didn't resonate. I just to be honest, I just kind of did it just in case it came down to it, and I wanted to get in.
Yeah.
But when I came across the works of Neville Goddard and really started diving into that and listening to his lectures, then it was like, okay, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
This is the way it works.
Definitely.
So, and then his thing is, what I liked about Neville Goddard was his thing was like, I want you to try this. I want you to do this. Put it to the test.
Yeah. And
watch. And I did. And sure as shit, it fucking happened,
How so?
Well, so when I was doing the Instagram stuff, I started just trying to be more positive and tell people about my journey and longer captions and try to just give some insight to positivity.
Yeah.
And I found that people were starting to resonate with it. Damn, man, I needed to hear those words, man. Thank you so much. Just accompany the guitar videos. Yeah. So then when I discovered Neville, I started listening to him and putting into practice. I think, so I wanted, I was telling a friend of mine, I said, man, I had 2,000 followers. I said, by June, I want to have 5,000 followers. And it was March, might have been 2020, I think. And so I go on runs and walks every day. I walk 3 or 4 miles.
I love that.
Yeah, and so as I'm going around the track, I'm imagining. I haven't seen it in a while. There used to be an icon for followers. So when you opened up your Instagram, a little icon would come up with a person, the shape of a person, and it would have the numbers, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was be like, this many people followed you today.
Okay.
Like 2 people.
Yeah.
It would have a number in it.
Yes.
I started imagining those numbers going up, almost raining these icons with different numbers. 64, 92, 37, 1, 17. All these just raining these things on me. And I think by June, I had over 5,000 followers.
Holy shit.
Because, like you just read, the whole thing is imagination creates reality.
Yes.
You think it, you feel it, and it projects in your world. So I freaked out. I'm like, holy, this is working. And so I started doing that. And I just have so many examples of doing that. So I put it to the test, basically. And I've done it. I do it every day. The thing is, I was just telling, I have an older daughter. She's 30. And we went to breakfast this morning. And she's married, and her husband plays bass. He played bass for me a couple times in shows and stuff.
That's awesome.
But so I was trying to tell her how the universe works. She's heard my spiel before, but there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences, and we are all one mind. All of us are one mind, right? And this is how this works. I was thinking about this song that I had recorded a couple of years ago. It's a reggae song, reggae vibe. And I thought, man, I want to finish that song. Her husband was in a band called Pacific Dub, a popular reggae, Cali Roots band.
Yeah.
So I thought, I should get him to come in. We talked about it before, but I haven't talked to him in a while. So I should ask him to come in and do that. So I'm thinking about him. He texts me that night and says, hey, man, I just came across this band called Cactus. They're awesome. And Cactus is an old band from like early 70s that really under the radar band. But was it a coincidence that I was just thinking about him and then he texts me? No. Most people say in life that, I was just thinking about you, dude. And here you are calling me. And then you pass it off as coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's projection, because what I want wants me. What you want wants you.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about, man. So I tried to tell her that. I said, I haven't talked to your husband in a super long time, and we never text. I thought of him last night, and he texted me or it was the day before, or something like that.
Yeah.
So these things happen to me all the time, and I'm just now recognizing that it's not a coincidence and that I am the creator of my reality.
Yes.
It's happened with, I've wanted certain people to follow me and on social media, and I imagine it. I see it in my mind when I open up my Instagram. And a couple weeks later or a month later, there they are.
But it also comes down to hard work, right? Because you can think and dream all you want, but if you weren't putting out the music, if you weren't being consistent on all of those things, right? Those things matter as well.
Yeah, it matters, but because there's this thing called in the Neville Goddard story. There's a thing called the bridge of incidents, that all these things have to take place in order for your that reality to project itself as external reality. So that's part of that.
Of course.
So I have to be doing all these other things that have to go into place, but
all of it has to come together.
Yeah.
It's not just one or the other.
Right.
Right. It's like, I guess why I say that, because like if you ever read the book called The Secret, right? And
I haven't read it, but I know.
But it's just like, a lot of people that read it were like, oh, I can just think and dream and these things will happen, right? And it's just like, okay, but then you're also leaving the other part out of it. And that's why I like what he's saying, right? Is that it takes all of these pieces to make it happen. It's like you have to do the hard work, you have to believe in it, you have to fucking see it, you have to and I want to read more about him to fully understand it, but it takes all of these pieces to make it happen.
Yes, but you have to first think it. Nothing in this world
Correct.
was ever made that wasn't first imagined.
100%.
So that is the whole foundation of it, that imagination creates reality, and there's nothing you can pick out that wasn't first imagined first.
Of course.
And then I want to have a lot of followers. So what do I need to do that? And that's where the inspiration comes, and that's where the bridge of incidents comes, and you start getting this flow. And that's why, people are impatient. They want to wait for things, but there's the time you plant the seed and the time that it comes to fruition, or fruit bears fruit, whatever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's all kind of connected. But I do think that you can think of things and just they happen.
You think so?
I've done it.
But do you think that, like, for you, right? Like, growing your following and everything like that, if you would have just thought it but never did anything, would it have happened?
Well, I know I see your point, but to a certain extent, you have to go through certain motions to make things happen. There's a book called, a very famous book called Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
And
who's it by?
It's by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Napoleon Hill.
I've definitely seen it before.
Let me see it.
It's super popular.
Yeah. It's old. It's an old book.
I've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
But, it's basically, it kind of goes with what you're saying. You think about what you want your goal to be.
Yes.
And then you start thinking about things that will bring that into place, and then things start moving.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you have to take action, to your point. Yes,
of course.
You have to take action. I probably, I don't like saying this, but I probably could just think and things would start moving. Well, we all do that.
Of course.
But, you set goals.
You have to.
You set those goals. Yeah.
Right.
But, it's pretty cool. So
Right.
that changed my life.
Right. So you go, all right, hold on, right? So you go you get to the 5,000. Then what happens, right?
Then I want more, baby.
I want more.
I must have more. Oh, I'm excited. I'm like, this thing's working.
Yes.
I didn't really do much. I mean, just kind of posting as normal, and things started flowing. So sorry to get back to your point, because I'm just thinking about this. So I want to get to that 5,000. So the universe knows I want to get to that 5,000.
Yeah.
So it starts showing me ways to do so. So I wouldn't have gotten these had I not thought about my first goal, which was to get to the 5,000. So then somebody hits me up. Hey man, love your guitar work. You want to pay $25 and we'll promote you? Sure. That's an opportunity that wasn't there before in my world. So I did it. And all of a sudden, these opportunities pop up. I have now turned on the light, and all these opportunities start coming in. And that is what you're talking about doing the work. But those opportunities come from the very first thought of the goal, the very first imagination. And so, I just started, people started resonating with the positivity, and they started in the captions and my positivity, and they started liking the guitar playing. And so, it started growing.
How did you know that dude that wanted to charge you $25 wasn't a scam? Because you know how many of those are out there.
I didn't know. Well, I investigated a little bit. I'm looking
Yeah.
at his page, and you look at their comments, and if they're real comments, you can tell. So I went like $25. Well, I'm out $25.
Yeah.
Go for
And
it.
he just like promotes different musicians.
Yeah.
And
But man, it started I'm telling you, I started screenshotting every day, because I was getting literally 100 followers a day. I'm like 86, 97, 100 followers every single day. I mean, the dam broke.
and then how often were you posting?
I can't remember. It wasn't
Like consistently?
semi-consistently. Yeah. And just trying to keep those words positive, and people started resonating with that, and I just started growing.
And then how often to this day, do you consistently post?
Yeah, so now I try to post every day, at least a few times a week.
Yes.
Just some guitar stuff, and my stories are different. They're a little bit more like personal. I try to keep the feed as like guitar stuff, but my stories are more. I'm really into plants and flowers and stuff, so I'll put my plants in there, my dogs, and I usually address people like, "Hey guys, what's up, man? Boom, boom, boom. Hope you guys have a good day or whatever."
And where do you want to take this?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. It's something we all have to do to grow in this day and age. If I could, I would just go back to just playing and just do it the old school way.
Yeah.
But well, so this kind of goes back to your point of like, making things happen and putting in the work. I was determined to do this the DIY way. I'm going to get where I want to go. This is before Neville did the DIY way. Fuck this social media bullshit. I'm talking grassroots.
Yeah.
But it was going so slow, man. I mean, I was going, dude, when is this going to break, So I remember being in Memphis and this kid said, we were at the Sun Records looking at all the Elvis stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I saw your show last night, man." I go, "Oh, wow, thanks, man. I'm glad you were there." And he goes, "Yeah, you guys kick ass." And he goes, "But I went on your Facebook and you only have 3,000 fans or followers. And that's amazing because you guys are so good." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really do much social media." So basically, old dog learning new tricks.
Yes.
I had to, some of my friends were younger band, and I saw them growing. I'm like, "Dude, how do you guys, can you help me with this?" And I'm like, yeah, here's what you do, and you try this, try that, and you'll start seeing some growth. And I did, and it was okay, but then I could put that with the Neville stuff, and that's when it started really going. But yeah.
I mean, this is the new age of you could say grassroots, right? Because how many people are out there just handing out CDs on Venice Boardwalk, right? It's this day and age, it's like you have to incorporate social media if you're a musician, you're any type of creator, right? It's like if you're not incorporating social media into your marketing funnel, if you will, right? Like you're not going to be able to grow anywhere near at the rate as you can grow through utilizing social media, right? Because that the ability to reach millions, billions of people, on the drop of a dime, right? I mean, obviously there's so many people out there trying to claw their ways into your feed, right? But unlike never before up until the past decade, right? Is you have this opportunity to be able to speak to so many people. And it's for a lot of people out there, it does come down to consistency though, right? You have to be consistent. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I like to talk about this a lot. There's the biggest YouTuber in the world, Mr. Beast, right? This dude, each one of his videos gets the same amount of views that the fucking Super Bowl does, right? But a lot of people, they think this thing happened overnight. And it's no, this dude posted for 5-6 years without really gaining any fucking traction, right? You look at Joe Rogan, right? He fucking posted podcasts for 3 years and would get 200, 1,000, 2,000 fucking listens, like nothing, right? Compared to the 12 million fucking views he gets each episode now, right? Yeah. And so it's you have to be consistent. And when people aren't listening, you still, as long as you're putting out good quality content on a consistent basis, the cream always rises to the top. It always rises to the top. It might take 1 year. It might take 3 years. It might take 10 years, right? But if you stay consistent, shit will happen, right? And obviously you have to believe in yourself. And that's what it comes into, thinking about it and projecting it and putting it out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And consistency is, I learned that, that's, you have to sometimes, you have to find a way around things, and perspective plays a big role in that, and how I learned to come to terms with it, because I'm old school, man. I was like, kids on their social media,
Yes.
But I had to do something different. I had to do something different for my business, because now I'm a business. I have a business license. I have a business EIN. I'm treating this as a mom and pop shop, and I want to grow, and want the band to grow, and it's growing.
Yeah.
But the social media was not growing. So yeah, I started being more consistent. And when you, of course, naturally, when you see those numbers coming in, you want to be more consistent.
Yes.
But so, you know, the perspective I have is, you know, that I had to change from being like, get off my lawn, you know, to like, this is cool, is that's basically appreciation and gratefulness, and coming from like, dude, this guy in fucking Fiji just saw my guitar post and told me what it meant to him and how it inspired him. And I get a lot of that. And it's easy to just be like, oh, cool, next. And I did do that. Yeah. And I stopped myself. Hey, man, this guy from the Ukraine just told you that he went and bought a guitar because he saw your video.
Yeah.
I got people drinking Modelo's.
Yeah.
You know, it's and you're, on one level, you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Dude, I'm just a guitar player on social media. What's the big deal? But that positivity that started coming back at me, yes. And people were saying amazing, beautiful things to me. And I've always felt that, I mean, and we heard early on, right, when we were kids, that the most sincere form of flattery is imitation.
Yes.
I swapped that word out for inspiration. The most sincerest form of flattery is inspiration. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And I get those on the daily, man. And they just want to talk to me, and they just want to tell me that they appreciate me, and they're from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I had like a not a reawakening, but it just one of those things where you go through life and you're just going, you're doing your thing, and then you get like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot, you know.
Yeah.
I was kind of bored. I was just I'll do live, you know, do Instagram live. I went live, and you know, you see all the people coming on, and I'm like, and they're like, you know, hello from Canada, hello from Germany, hello from Japan, hello from Samoa, you know, and that's when I was like, holy fuck! I go, yeah, we got Samoa in the house. What's happening, man? Oh shit, we got the, you know, this country, that country, and that's the whole beauty of it.
Yes,
that's as bad as the internet is and the web. It's also that much beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
So
absolutely. I mean, so many people always want to talk about the bad, and I'm guilty of it too, right?
Yeah.
But in my personal opinion, I think that the internet brings way more good than it does bad. But as a society, we like to focus on the bad, not the good, right? Yeah. Being able to communicate and inspire and transmit the education and just everything that we can do and connect, you know, our worlds together unlike never before. Dude, that's what the internet is all fucking about, right? And for you to be able to like grow and inspire people from all over the fucking world, it's so cool. It's just, and like you said, it's like, you know, for you growing up in a generation where that was not a thing, to then be able to change and pivot and do what you're doing now, right? It's, you know, it's bearing the, you know, the fruits of your labor, right? And you continue to do that, and you will continue to inspire people. You know, as we start to wrap this up, man, you know, this is a question that I like to ask a lot of people, but, you know, for you, when you leave this earth, what do you want to be remembered for?
I just want to be remembered, man. Really. If people remember me and in a good way, and find humor and can laugh about the bad things, then hey, I'm good with that. You know, I don't really. Just to be remembered would be cool.
Yeah.
You know, I just hope that people say, you know, hey, I did something. You know, oh, remember this, remember that. You know. And yeah, he was an asshole. Remember the time he fucking did this or what? You know, even the bad stuff becomes good. You know, at some point.
Yes.
You know, it becomes a laughing point or a point of you know, good memory. So, yeah, if I'm remembered, then cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, what is that saying? Like hindsight is 2020, right? So it's like even the negative shit, eventually turns positive, right? And it's like, even for me, like my biggest failures in my life, I look at them as positives now. Why? Because I learned from those experiences and, shifted and became the person I am today. And so it's like, even if we have negative experiences, like if you can laugh about it, right, in years to come, it's like, well, who fucking gives a shit? Yeah. And things become less important too, like as time goes on, right? What we think is bad today is not going to be bad tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's, to that point right there, it's like, man, I've really learned, like, this has been said in songs before. Like, I think it was in one of the Linkin Park songs or something. In the end,
yeah, that's them.
Nothing matters, dude. It really doesn't. And I've learned that. I'm so thankful that I learned it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
it doesn't matter. You get all hyped up about this and what the fuck, and it doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so crazy. It's like if you're upset at someone, right, and you're gonna send them an email or a text, right? Type that shit out, right? Wait a day or two, read that shit.
Yeah.
If you still feel that way, okay, fucking send it, right? Yeah. But a lot of times you're like, maybe not, right? Yeah. Maybe not so much. Yeah. All right, last question, brother. Do you believe in aliens?
Let me tell you about aliens, man.
Let me hear it.
Nothing. There is nothing that would surprise me. I mean, to God's honest truth, man. In fact, I was just thinking about this on the drive up. I'd seen something where there's somebody says there's a theory that there's reptilian humanoids at the core of the earth, and they're basically running the whole show. In my mind, I'm probably like, oh, I could see that. I wouldn't be like, no way.
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
If they told me, this is all just a computer simulation that we're living in and it's a matrix, I'd be like, cool. Is there going to be, can I still have sex and drink beer and play rock and roll? Okay, well then let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, sure. I believe in Bigfoot. I believe in everything.
Yeah.
I just live
until disproven, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Right.
I just don't think that on just a different level, there's just no way that the universe is as big as it is.
Yeah.
As it's like infinite, and we're the only ones.
Of course. There's just no. I mean, they've already done the math behind it, right? And there's just no fucking way. There's no way. And if there wasn't, right, that's scary.
Yeah.
For me to think that, like aliens, right? I believe that in my core, right? But to think that there's nothing else out there,
yeah, that's
fucking.
I did hear a theory that I thought was interesting recently, like a couple weeks ago or a month ago, that the aliens that at least that we're shown or that they tell us about, they're actually evolved humans from the future coming back.
Yeah.
Because of, I think they broke down, the growth of people and the way we're going, the way we're headed, and eventually down the line, our brains will be more, bigger, and we'll be evolving into aliens ourselves.
100%.
And they're already there and coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, you look at the picture we paint as an alien, right? The fucking big brain, all smooth, fucking no genitalia, right?
Right.
Like, you continue down this path, like, this is what I'm sure that's what we turn into.
Right.
Right. Like that makes a lot of fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking telepathically, right? Not having to reproduce with this fucking body. I mean, it's like you get smart enough and all of the technology controls everything, AI, robotics, all of those fucking things, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, that definitely, just even asking this question, I just love hearing people's different answers, right? I always like ending those two questions.
Yeah, because why would we think that this is it?
Yeah.
Our bodies are going to stay this way and we are not going to evolve physically.
100%.
It doesn't make any
No,
sense.
it makes no sense. and if you believe in evolution, which I do, right? Do you think it just stops? Like
Right.
if evolution is a real thing, we're so fucking magical that it just stops. No, get the fuck out of here, man. Like literally get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So my brother,
Dude, thanks for having
we
me on.
fucking did it, dude. We did it. We did it.
Appreciate
Man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Blessed.
Where can people find your stuff?
Man, everywhere. You can Google my name, Harlis Sweetwater, and everything will come up, but they can find me on Instagram as my main spot. I don't do much on Facebook, but a little bit, very little on TikTok.
Not getting on that Chinese spyware?
Nah. They know everything about me. They need to know,
Of
man.
course they do. I mean, dude, your shit can grow pretty quick on there, though.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, Tyler. I mean,
We'll talk after.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Well,
dude.
that's what my nieces told me, and then I kind of. But again, I am an old dog learning new tricks, so I'm probably not doing it right.
Yeah.
But my website, if the hub, if anything happens or you can't find me, it's harlissweetwaternow.com. My full name, harlissweetwaternow.com. And that's has all my shows and everything. But you just Google the name and luckily it comes up. Should I give my Pornhub address?
Yes,
or-
please. Your Pornhub, your OnlyFans. Give out your Grinder, your Tinder.
Yeah.
My brother,
But, yeah.
thank you so much. I really
it,
appreciate
brother.
you.
Yeah, man.
That's it, baby. Boom.
Thanks, dude. That was a blast.
And that's how we do it, gentlemen.